So I'm moving soon and I thought I should just make a video about it because I need to kind of update you guys on some things and like explain to you all what's going on and how I'm actually going to do it, because a lot of people have been curious about it. So I haven't really talked about it here on YouTube, but I have mentioned it on my other social medias like Twitter that I'm going to be moving, and I've had a lot of people requesting for me to do videos about it and stuff. So hello, here is I guess the first video about my move. So I'm actually going to be moving quite far. It's about a 14-hour drive, and it's like a 14-hour drive no stop, so it'll probably actually take a little longer than that. And a lot of people are curious about how I'm going to do it because I have a lot of animals. If you can't tell by looking in this room behind me, there's quite a lot of animals. And yes, I am bringing them all with me. Every single reptile I have is coming with me. All of my small pets are coming with me. The only ones I don't think I'm bringing is my saltwater aquarium, because I just don't think my animals would survive. Saltwater fish and corals are really sensitive, and well, I could try to move them. I'm just not confident that they would make it, so I would rather find them a home here where I can be confident that they're going to live than try to risk a move, if that makes sense. But pretty well every single animal I have is coming with me, and it's going to be pretty difficult to move them all, but we're going to do it. Before I go into detail about how I'm going to be moving my animals, let's just like talk about my move a little bit. So I'm still living in Canada. I'm moving from Nova Scotia to Ontario. I am going to be moving into a house, not an apartment, and one of my favorite things about this house is that it has a really large basement where all of my pets are going to go. So I'm going to have a giant pet room down there, and I'm really excited. I have a lot of projects that I plan on working on when I get there. I actually have a team of people who are going to help me build some new cages and everything, so it's really exciting. And I will be filming as much as I possibly can of that. I want to film my moving process. I want to film me like setting up my new animal room and everything like that. So I'm really planning to film as much as I possibly can. Obviously moving, you know, I'm going to be really busy. It's going to be stressful, so I'm probably not going to film everything, but I'm going to try my best. Once I move, I'm actually starting a new job as well. Right now YouTube is my only job, but once I move and, you know, I have more bills to pay and more responsibilities, I am getting another job. I already have one. I have a job. The title is a wildlife educator. I'm working with a nature center, and they do have a lot of reptiles also. It's like reptiles and wildlife and all that stuff. Pretty much all the animals there are like rescued animals. Some of them are animals that people have kept as pets and surrendered. Some of them have been like illegal pets. Some of them are like injured wildlife that can't be returned, everything like that. Not gonna go too much into detail on that, but I am starting a new job. It is only going to be part-time though, because I did want to make sure that I still have time for YouTube and my animals and everything, because this is a big priority for me. So don't worry, nothing's going to be changing with my channel. I'm still going to be uploading regularly. That's really important to me. So everything like this is going to stay the same, but I'm excited for all of this. I'm excited for the move. I'm excited for a new job. I'm excited for a new pet room. It's going to be really exciting. So I'm not entirely sure when I'm going to be moving yet. The house is officially ours to move into on September 1st, so in about a month from now. It'll probably be a little bit after that I actually get to moving. I do have a trip planned in September. I leave on September 10th and I'm gone until September 17th, so I probably won't start moving until after my trip. Hopefully I'll get it done pretty quick. I don't want to spend like months and months like just trying to move. Hopefully I'll be moved in by October. I would say that's my goal. Sometime in October I'd like to be there. That's what's happening. Me and all of my pets are moving pretty far away. So now that poses the question, how am I going to move everyone and everything? So as I mentioned before, I am bringing all of my pets with me, and I'm bringing pretty well all of the enclosures with me as well. Once I move, I do plan on building some new ones, upgrading some cages, but at first they'll be all like living in the enclosures they're currently in. So we kind of already have it planned out. I'm sure some things will change as we actually like start doing them, because, you know, we might figure out this might work better, this isn't gonna work, whatever. So the current plan is, my family is helping me move, by the way, so I don't have to do it all myself, which is nice. But the current plan is we're going to rent some sort of big truck, like a moving truck, and that's what's going to take almost all of my stuff. So it's going to take all of the furniture I'm bringing with me, all of my like clothes and whatnot, and it's also going to take all of the animal enclosures. So all of these like exoterras that you see back here and whatnot, those are all going to be going on the truck. Now for the animals, when you're moving with animals, you kind of have two options, I would say. You can either have them shipped or you can, you know, drive them up yourself. Now I chose to go with the option by driving them myself. I'm going to have to drive myself up there anyways because I'm bringing my car with me, so I'm going to be making the drive. So I decided I'm going to bring all of my animals with me in my car essentially. Now my family might have to take some of the animals if they don't all fit in my car, but for the most part they should all fit in mine, all of the reptiles at least. I might have to send the small animals in a different car, but we'll see, you know, I'll find out as we get closer to that. But the plan is basically to drive them all up. Now with that plan, the one downside to that is I have to make the drive all in one day. I can't stop overnight anywhere because I need to get the animals from my house to my new house. So I can't be stopping overnight or anything. I'll have to do the 14-hour drive in one day, which doesn't sound very fun, but it's what I gotta do. So yeah, that's essentially what I'm doing. So as I mentioned, all of the enclosures are going to be going in a truck. So that means my animals are going to be transported in temporary bins. So I'm going to give you a look at all the bins and then we'll talk about like why I'm using these to transport them. So these are all of the bins that I've gotten so far. This is almost all of them, but I do need a couple more for some of my bigger animals like my blue-tongued skink and my bearded dragon. And then I also need to get things to transport all of my mammals in, like my hamsters, rabbits, and hedgehogs. So yeah, I do still have a few more to pick up, but this is most of them. So what I did was I picked out bins that would kind of just comfortably fit the animal without giving them too much space or too little space. For example, these bigger ones up here are to transport chameleons in. You can see I've labeled them all. So this one says veiled chameleon. And then if you look down at these bins below, I have like ball python, those three are ball pythons, corn snake, milk snake, stuff like that. So to get a look at some of the bins, I got some smaller ones over here, and these are to transport a lot of the smaller animals in. So this one, for example, here says scorpion on it, so this is what my scorpion will be transported in. It's just a little tiny container, so it'll give my scorpion enough room to fit and comfortably move a little bit if they want to, but it make sure that they stay nice and secure and safe and can't get like thrown around or anything. Then over here we have a slightly larger container. So this one is labeled rainbow boa. So as a lot of you guys probably know, my rainbow boa is just a baby, so he's pretty tiny. So this will give him, you know, enough space to comfortably fit in while also making sure that he can't get thrown around. And then here we have a crusty cage. So this is the same size as the rainbow boa one, as you can see, but this one is slightly taller because obviously these animals are arboreal, so I wanted to give a little extra height for him to fit in. And yeah, so you know, this just kind of continues through all of my animals. So I have like sand boa, leopard gecko, children's python, my lychee, another crusty, fat tail, corn snake, all of that. So there's bins here for the majority of my reptiles. I just have to get a few more and then we'll be good to go. And as you can see, I've obviously labeled every single bin on here so far. This will help keep me organized. This makes sure that I know who's going where, and you know, it'll just make things a lot simpler for me. So I'm really excited. This is kind of the first thing that I've done in order to start preparing for my move. So it's really exciting because, you know, I'm just really excited and it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's probably going to be really stressful, but also fun and cool. So yeah, here are the bins that I got for my animals. Okay, so those are all the bins that I'm pretty well using to transport my animals. As I mentioned, I do still need to get a few more, but that's most of them. Now, some people might be thinking like, oh, you're putting them in a small container for such a long amount of time. And yes, they are going in fairly small containers and they will be there for, you know, pretty well a full day. But it's honestly the safest way to do it. Now, I could transport my animals by leaving them in bigger enclosures, but when you do that and you're driving, it can be risky, because imagine you hit a pothole or you hit like a speed bump or just any kind of bump or whatever. If your animal's in a big enclosure, they can get thrown around, tossed around, shaken around, and all of that. So when you're transporting these reptiles, it's kind of better to just leave them in a smaller enclosure, so that way if you happen to hit a pothole or a bump or whatever, they're not going to be thrown around the cage. They're going to be in a nice secure area where they can't really get injured or anything. So in my opinion, it's best to transport them in a smaller container rather than a larger one. So when I was picking out all of these bins, I bought ones that I knew would comfortably fit the animal inside of it without like squishing them and without giving them too much room to move around. So yeah, that's about what's going on right now. I don't really have any other updates for you. This is about as much as I can say so far. As I start doing more though, I'm going to try to film it. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to start moving until probably the middle of September after my trip, but I am kind of starting things now just because I don't want to be left doing a million things 2 days before I have to go. So that's why I bought all those bins today. I just want to kind of get an early start on it so I'm not stuck rushing in a few weeks or whatever. I just want to, get things going now so that things can go as smoothly as possible when the time comes. So yeah, I'll be filming a lot of update videos about this move. I'm hoping to do like a whole series about moving, like me packing up my animals, me driving with them, getting their enclosures set up in the new house, getting the animals back in their enclosures, all kinds of stuff like that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy seeing those videos. I'm really looking forward to making them. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video here because, as I said, I don't really have any more updates for now, but I wanted to give you guys this update because I think it's a pretty important one. Pretty big changes happening here, but I'm really excited for them. So thank you guys for watching. If you want to stick around to see my moves and my animals and whatnot, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to like and whatever, all that stuff. Also check out my social media. Everything's in the description below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video, hopefully.